What's up, everybody, and happy Friday! We are here, or I should say I am here, and I have a special guest from St. Paul Public Schools. She is a parent at EXPO Elementary. Y'all know that I am nosy, and I be on socials, and I stay tuned into what's going on in community. And one thing I do know about EXPO Elementary is that they have a very strong community. I have the honor of being a guest there, showcasing Mizz Mercedez in my Black to the Future comic book a few years ago for their Black History Month, and I seen the just vibrance and beauty of the teachers just really having a strong connection and community, and also but going back to that, on Facebook I had seen a message where they were just upset. Trust was broken. And as a community engagement director myself in my personal life, I understand the importance of trust and how we need trust to have good relationships, to have a good environment, and to have a safe space. And when trust is strong, magic happens. So trust was broken, unfortunately, with EXPO parents, and they are expressing that. So I'm here to kind of be a reparative conversation. Like, how can we bring solutions? And I know I have a platform where a lot of educators in St. Paul Public Schools listens to, so I'm hoping that they really take this conversation seriously for real change, because this conversation, we're not just here talking about change, we're creating it. We are being the change that we want to see. So I want to welcome parent from EXPO Elementary, Kathleen. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me, Mercedes.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. Besides being a parent at EXPO, who are you? Because you're much more than that.
We are all much more than one thing. So my name is Kathleen. I work in gun violence prevention. I'm a gun violence prevention educator and organizer. And I'm the parent of 3 children.
Hey.
My oldest is in 4th grade at Capitol Hill now, but he was at EXPO up until like the 3rd day of school this year when he transferred. And then his little brothers are at EXPO now in 1st grade. So that was our neighborhood school, that was our community school, and continues to be. And we've been very active there. I'm on the Council of Parents and Teachers. I volunteer in the classroom. I have twins, and so it's really fun to see how like 2 classrooms, 2 different teachers are handling things and like running their classrooms and managing behaviors and teaching new concepts. It's really beautiful. I'm a very proud member of the EXPO community and a growing member of Capitol Hill as well.
Awesome. So what great, I have a connection. So in the schools, you know how they do connection?
Yes, with the
I
linking.
have a son at Capitol Hill as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, so
Oh,
I'm just
cool.
happy to meet another parent.
Yeah.
So we're going to be a community that way too, and
Yes.
build more.
That's awesome.
Yes, and then did you have all boys?
All boys, yeah.
Me too. Boy, mom, high five.
Very
Yes.
cute.
So I just have one more than you. So I have 4 boys.
Oh, my goodness.
And they're all in Rondo schools.
Okay.
I moved back to the community in 2021, and I don't want to be someone who speaks about something without actually being there. So the fact that I live here, my kids go to these schools, I know I have a right to speak on whatever it is that I'm talking about.
You do,
I'm not just talking out my ASS. Like, no, I live it, I see it, and my kids are experiencing it. One thing that I really want to just, so let's just get right into it. I know we're tight on time. Our kids are about to get out of school. So what is it that EXPO is unhappy about right now?
Yeah, great question. So EXPO's been through, like so many of our schools, right, has been under enormous pressure over the past 6 years, kind of managing through and then coming back from the pandemic. We had a principal for my son's preschool and then kindergarten, and then we got another principal for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and then he left the district at the beginning of the school year, and the former assistant principal came in. And at that time that announcement was made, we were assured by the deputy superintendent that we would engage in a full-term principal search in the spring, and that EXPO community members, meaning parents and staff would have a role in selecting that new principal. And I actually requested a phone call with her to talk about that a little more, because I was a little bit like, you sent out this short survey, but it's just got a couple. It wasn't really a great survey, right? Like it just kind of had a
lot
couple,
of these surveys are.
And so you're going to solicit feedback, right? Like you're going to engage with the community, but you're not asking really good questions. Like, what's the plan here? What do you mean when you say we're going to be a part of this process? And we had a productive phone call. Like I always want to give people credit where they deserve it, but those reassurances were repeated over the phone with me in the fall. And then in March, we started to hear that hiring process was going to be started for the principal. The person who's been acting as the interim principal has been doing a tremendous job, just really trying to do a lot of like culture change stuff, building community, and all of the staff has been really happy with her. Nobody's perfect, but it's been a really good year. And so there was also talk about how can we recommend her for this position and make sure she's got our support as a staff and family.
And she spent the time. And it's deserving.
Yeah, and the reason she was asked to come in was for continuity, right? That's also that's super important. And so we were gearing up for asking questions, figuring out like, okay, what's this process going to look like? We were told that 2 teachers and 2 family members, 2 parents would be selected to kind of be on a hiring board and to actually be there and be present for the interviews. Those were supposed to start on Monday. I've since found out from you that Sunday night candidates were contacted and told that those meetings were abruptly canceled. We found out Tuesday afternoon at 3, the parents got an email from Superintendent Stanley just saying, basically like, just kidding, the whole process has kind of been abandoned and somebody's been appointed to be the principal of your school next year. And they introduced the person. I want to be very careful that like, we do not take issue with the person who's been appointed in the principalship. We just don't know him. He's not known to the school. He's not known to the community. He's not known to the kids or the parents or the staff. This isn't personal about him. This is about the process and what was promised and what was pulled away. And if there's more context to it, like contractual obligations, like that's information that we needed and should have gotten sooner. It just felt like we were sort of treated like, here's an update for you on this person who's supposed to be in charge of your school. And these are little kids, they're young kids. We're starting with full day preschool. These are 4-year-olds that we're sending to school. Like, we want to know who's in charge of that building.
How does it make you feel being told one thing, like you guys were told repeatedly, like, yes, we are going to honor that you want to be a part of the process, this is happening, and then for it not to happen? It's a violation, I mean, people, I was one of many parents who said, that's a hard week for me. We work, we were just getting back from a trip, but if nobody else steps forward, I'll be there, right? Like, that's the energy that parents bring to these big decisions. Like, if I need to, I'll be there, I'll figure it out, I'll take time off work. Parents took time off work to participate in these interviews and to make sure that they were ready, and so that's super frustrating. It was also felt like a slap in the face to the teachers, like we all know how hard our teachers work. Yes,
how
especially in this generation. In the climate, not even just here in Minnesota, the ice surge this past year, everything that's going on outside, like, there's a lot.
Thank you for naming that, because it's like, I think back to like this whole thing has made me think a lot about like what our journey has been like at this school. It was our first year at the school was the all virtual learning. Some kids went back, some stayed remote. Then we had months and months of masked learning, where you could just tell the engagement was different because you were trying to do everything through a mask, and we did that for a reason, right? We were trying to keep people safe. But it took a couple years for things to start to normalize, and then we had this all of the disruption from ICE this year, and all of the long-term fallout that we know that kids are experiencing academically and socially and emotionally. So it's just been it's been a lot, and I checked in with I'm friends with staff members at the school, and I said, how's your mood? Like, how you doing? And they're like, we're just sick of everything. Like, we just want normalcy. We want predictability. We want to know what we're walking into when we go to school. And they don't feel like they have that. So they said the announcement that this person had been appointed and the process that we were promised was abandoned. felt like a slap in the face. And I really feel for the interim principal and all of the other candidates who you get excited about an opportunity like that.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a principalship is a big deal, and it just was, that opportunity was just over.
And not even really given a chance.
Mm-hmm. And I've had some conversations around like, well, why couldn't we have like still continued the hiring process, even if because of experience and tenure and the appointed candidate is still the best candidate? Like why couldn't we still have like gone through that process? And concerns about it just being a waste of time, and which I get, but these are conversations that the community is demanding, not just me, but all of the parents. They want to hear this, and we do have an update that there's going to be a community meeting on Monday evening before the board meeting on Tuesday, and so hopefully, we expect Superintendent Stanley to be there. I asked for the appointed candidate to be there too, because I would like to get to know them. I'd like to hear from them, and kind of go from there at least. But these are conversations that needed to happen. That getting an email like that is just, I
encourage you guys as EXPO active community members and parents to still show up in numbers at the board meeting, because this is for real change. I do have a story to share though.
Love stories.
So I became in education. I forget the year. I was 23 years old though, and I had 2 kids at the time, and my oldest was 4 going into pre-K. And my mom, she worked at Hamlin Elementary, and she learned about this program called Reading Corps, AMACorps, like a Reading Corps tutor. So she encouraged me to do it, saying like, oh, you can pay off some of your student loans, and maybe you can work in your son's classroom and be like me, working at your kid's school, and you also get paid. So I was like, okay. I never seen myself in education, but I was like, let me try it. And I ended up being at Hamlin Elementary, so it was across the street from her school. And then my son was in my class. I loved it. I was in a pre-K class. We had 2 different classes. Shout out to Karen Lane and Miss Laura. They were great coworkers that really got me wanting to be in education. But that's when I started dreaming again, because I kind of, my first dream was to be a basketball player. My ankle broke, that dream died, and then I was kind of just out here living. I wasn't living, my body was just out there. And it wasn't until the kids, I seen how much they look up to teachers, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have power. Like, and that's when I seen the power that teachers have, where they can make or break a kid's spirit, but also make learning fun, and they really kind of directed the way their education would go. Like, either they're gonna love learning or hate it. And I took that seriously. And the principal at that school, Hamlin Elementary, was Craig Anderson.
Oh, wow.
And that's who has been appointed at your school. And after my year, he came and was like, Mercedes, you did a great job. He was like, I want you to continue working here. And then I started the following year as a TA and working with behavior and special ed. I was an EBD TA, which was challenging, 23 years old. I have lots of stories about my first year. But yes, so I had a great experience when I had Craig as my principal. And then just learning and growing, you see things. But I just say that to hopefully give hope to this new change and shift. And yeah, for you guys, I really hope that when you guys do have the conversation, that he is there and really takes things seriously. Oh, we have a phone call.
We have a phone call.
Someone is calling. Oh, wait, let me see if I remember how to answer this. Hello? Oh no, this is the Mizz Mercedez show. Okay, sorry. Bye-bye. Sorry. I was surprised. Like, oh, someone's calling.
I was like, I am that compelling of a guest.
That was funny. That was awesome. Yes. But going forward, repairing trust is huge. I know about trust just being here from the Rondo community. There has been a huge just trust with like just the government and different things going on and people using our name in history, and it's hard when you want community engagement, but if community doesn't trust you, they're not going to show up. You're not going to get a true reflection of what the community really feels and thinks. So I just want to know, what would you like to see from SPPS moving forward?
That's a great question. I think that those were some of the answers. We were just trying to figure out like what's next. What are our options here? What recourse do we have? And so the immediate request was for a meeting with Superintendent Stanley, and that is happening Monday evening. So we are grateful for that. And we do want to just get the word out that this happened, and what that feels like for families, what that feels like for staff. What we've come to understand is that there was restructuring at the district level, and that's why Mr. Anderson was offered the position as part of his contractual protections for the union. St. Paul public school parents are supportive of unions. We're supportive of those protections, but what about the other candidates' protections? Like what rights do they have in this process? What rights
if you talk about equity, that's not equitable if you just give it to someone because of seniority.
And if everyone said like this, we're frustrated too, this didn't go how we wanted to. I appreciate that candor, right? Like knowing and having that empathy. But, what about the interim principal? And what about the staff, and what about their rights? What about their ability to speak freely about how frustrated they are without fearing repercussion? Everybody's asking for, can you send that to my personal email? Can you not tag me in these things? Like the parents are being the mouthpieces, not because, but taking some of the heat for the staff, because the staff doesn't feel comfortable expressing how they feel about this. And so I think that is just like, what are some of the unintended consequences of some of these protections, is something that I'd like to continue talking about. We would have liked to have seen a hiring process. We'd still like to see a hiring and an interview process. We don't know that that's likely, but asking why, getting more clarity around why this restructuring is happening, and why that position was deemed redundant, or if I think it got reposted. So that's a question people have, is like, why put someone back in the classroom if there are concerns we don't know if there were concerns about performance. We hope not, and we don't want to like drag someone's HR file out, but we also like deserve to know what's going on.
And then it does raise questions and red flags when this person hasn't been in the schools for a while because their position moved up to a different space, and generations change. Like what it was 5 years ago is not the same today. Like COVID happened and has made a huge shift, and then you guys have a whole new program of pre-K starting. So it's like, we just want somebody who's been in the school scenery, know what's going on, but also building relationships. Like I think a lot of people don't understand the power of community. We've seen that happen firsthand with the ice surge this year. The government didn't save us, they didn't protect us, it was us community members who protected and took care of our neighbors and each other. And just growing up in the Rondo community, we had this conversation before we were on air, like my teachers who worked in the school I seen them at the grocery store. When you were out in community, they were your neighbors, they lived by you. So community, the school, when I went to St. Paul Public Schools, was community based, meaning your teachers, the people that work there, also live in your community. And then you mentioned how EXPO, all of the teachers been there, like they've been there 10 years plus. Like once they started working at EXPO, they didn't move to another school. So that's the community. It's very strong knitted. And that is very powerful. And then fast forward, when I got into St. Paul Public Schools, I'm in my 20s now, so this is 2014-ish. I seen a huge shift and change where there's teachers driving in from like Brooklyn Park, Wisconsin, and they weren't from the actual community. And that has caused a lot of just tension, but also misunderstanding, because there is culture different in communities, and St. Paul is very diverse with different communities having different needs. So you need someone who reflects that and knows that and understands that, and especially someone who actually takes the time to be there to learn and to build that trust. So I'm hoping St. Paul Public Schools, y'all listening, I'm giving y'all, this is free. Y'all should be paying me to do this. But y'all know love is power, and I'm about real change. So yes. So is there anything else that you'd like to share? I know we're cutting on time.
Oh, geez. I think thank you for all that you do. I know you mentioned just community and neighborism, right? Like we saw this year how much we love each other. And
love is power.
But that those relationships take time, and the best thing we can do for each other is get to know our neighbors, get to know the teachers at our kids' school, get to know, the bus drivers and the mailman and the people that work at our shops. Like the more, I'm so proud to be Minnesotan. I'm so proud to be a St. Paulite. I'm so proud to be an EXPO parent, and we want to get to focus on the positive, and I'm sad that what should have been a positive development for the school community is instead being born out of a lot of mistrust and hostility, and it's a shame, and it didn't have to be this way. So I do want us to move forward productively in love, and the first step is going to be that meeting on Monday, and we'll kind of go from there. But thank you for letting us talk about it.
Awesome. Yes. Well, thank you, Kathleen. Just know we are not just talking about change. We are creating that change, and we are being the change we want to see. So have a great, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.